Hey everyone,
Hey
we're back.
everyone, we're here.
Yay. This is another episode of Calvinize with your host, David, and
Claudia.
so we've been out of the picture for a while. You know, probably have noticed we're still posting on our Calvinized 5 Instagram page as well as our Calvinized apparel page. But as far as recordings, we've kind of been absent from the scene for a little while just because life happens. I don't know if you can tell, like our background minus the canvas in the back here is a little bit different. We're sitting on different furniture than our traditional table and chairs routine.
We had a little bit of a makeover, as you can tell, a little bit, because we had a flooding. Our room is right below a bathroom, and so we kind of suffered some flooding and just a lot of repairing to do, and and of course also kind of like a makeover as well. We have some soundproof foam pads on our ceiling, and and we are now added a comfy couch to be able to sit on and just be comfortable and to just relax.
So we because of the bathroom flooding, we had to have the entire ceiling of the room replaced. They found black mold, so definitely want to get that out of there. So we replaced the ceiling, and we thought, hey, while we're down and recording, let's do something a little bit different. So we put up the soundproof ceiling tiles on the ceiling after it was done. Then we also took a vacation. We posted a short video, funny video while we were there. But we kind of felt inspired by the hotel room we were in. In the hotel room, they had a little couch there, and I felt like this would be fun to have for like a more intimate setting rather than sitting at a longer table and crunched in and all that. Now I feel like I can adjust and be comfortable on this comfortable couch. And so we decided pull the table and the chairs out and throw a couch in and just make it a little more simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is our first recording back in our new studio.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, we want to catch you up on everything that's been going on with me and Claudia. So although we're not recording does not mean that we've been completely out of the scene. So we're going to take a little trip back. So a few months back, before just right around the time right before we launched the Calvinized apparel store, we were contacted by a group called the Soulless Council. Maybe some of you follow them on their channel on Discord. Anyways, they were looking for somebody to help create their merchandise to kind of get out there, and they liked our mission behind what we're doing at Calvinized Apparel, that they were like, hey, like, we're looking for somebody to design our merchandise and just put like a page on their store for us, and what we're going to do to support you is whatever sales you make, you can continue to do what you're already doing with the store, and you just keep the profits and donate them to endabortionnow.com or whatever pro-life ministry you want to donate it to, because they're like us. We're just trying to grow. We're trying to grow in our fellowship and just kind of get out there more as far as spreading the gospel and getting theology right. And so so we partnered with them. If you go to our Calvinized apparel store, you will notice that there is a page on the Calvinized apparel called Soulless Council merch. And I will tell you that this is an awesome group of people. They're from all over the United States. The owner, John, is the one who reached out to me originally. I've been working with him and his team. And if you go to, I don't know how familiar with you guys are with Discord. Every time I had never heard of it, but they've got a following of about 500 people on there, and they're unofficially sponsored by Ligonier. And a lot of you should know who Ligonier is if you're following our channel, because most people who follow our channel are Reformed believers. And so Ligonier actually, so on the Discord channel that Solas has, I think about every week they do giveaways, and they're from Ligonier. Ligonier actually gives them stuff to give away to their followers, and they have a drawing and they give away books and etc. But again, great group of guys. I would highly recommend checking out. We actually have a link to their Discord channel. A lot of people, they hear Discord and they think, oh, it's for gamers, and it is a popular platform for gamers to use. But this site, I'll tell you what they have done with this site is incredible. Like I said, there's about close to 500 or more people on there, and what they're doing is it's just like I don't know if it's worldwide, but it's like a huge gathering for fellowship. They have a men's group, and they have a women's group on there, and then it's like every day something's going on. There's a discussion, a Bible study.
It's like a community.
It's a huge community of believers, Reformed and non-Reformed, really, which is so cool. Like everybody coming together and like just being in fellowship, no matter where you are, no matter what time of day. I was so impressed by it that I applied to be a teacher on there and had to go through an interview process, and it was not easy, I'll tell you that, but for whatever reason they decided, hey, we like you, we think you could definitely contribute as a teacher on this platform. So I'm actually leading a men's study right now, and it's awesome. Like I said, like I log in at 6 o'clock, and I'm in fellowship with guys from Pennsylvania, Indiana, Florida, California, just all over the United States, and we're all growing together, and as iron sharpens iron. So even though I'm the teacher, I'm the leader, I'm still learning and I'm still growing from these men. And like I said, there's just so much on this site to really get into. So I highly encourage you to at least go check it out, and see if that's an area that you're kind of struggling in wherever you are right now. Fellowship, I highly recommend it to anybody. Like, fellowship is so vital to your walks. So go check out the Solas Council on Discord. Like I said, there's a link to it on our Calvinized Apparel store, and it's like at the bottom. Anyways, if you go to their page, you can just click join now, or it says join the Solas Council. Anyways, and it'll take you right to them, and the great guys, they'll get you right in. Anyways, so that's kind of what's been going on with me lately. And we also posted an update on our Calvinized store. I apologize, I didn't realize how bad it looked, that it needs some brightening up touches, and so I spent quite a bit of time. The guys from Solas reached out to me and said, hey, can you do this on the store? And I got in there and I'm like, holy cow, like, our page looks horrible. Like, nobody can read anything. It just looks like a mishmash of just random pictures. So I spent a good portion of yesterday evening brightening it up. So hopefully, it'll generate more people to the site. More people will stay on it. Maybe they'll buy something. And again, it is completely nonprofit. When we first launched the store, we got a few sales on there, and we're able to donate we made a donation to endabortion.com. And so I highly encourage you to at least go on there and make a purchase. And we're not keeping any money. And I'll just put this out there. If you don't like what you see, contact us. Like, we don't have we're very limited on our time, right? I work full time. Claudia, believe it or not, even at home is full time working, dog sitting, cake baker. She's a very busy woman. Yeah. She has her own crafts to take care of, and also taking care of our 3 special needs children. So, anyways, I kind of want to turn this recording or this session over to what Claudia is doing. Claudia is doing some amazing things that I've never really thought could be done, and maybe I never considered, but she has really had it on her heart for a long time to be more engaged with the pro-life ministry, the abolitionist movement against abortion. And so, I don't know if you guys have noticed, she has created a Instagram page that links people, if they go there, by state, the resources that are available to pregnant women. And I'm going to let you talk a little bit more about that, because I've been rambling on this whole time.
It's
so.
Okay. You're actually, you're better at it than I am, but
anyways, so tell us what kind of inspired you, more or less, or how did you get the idea to do a one-stop shop, so to speak, for people, pregnant women, or people that are trying to help pregnant women, kind of maybe dissuade them from going the extreme way, or just wanting to be find support for people who might be discouraged after finding out they're pregnant?
Well, I think for me, obviously, of course, I've had a passion for it, of course, to be able to help women, and it's also just very important to be able to encourage these women, first and foremost, that they're not alone. When you're faced with an unexpected pregnancy, obviously, of course, and this is from also personal experience, the first thing is obviously it's fear, it's uncertainty, it's just all of these emotions that make you feel like everything is just overwhelming, and so obviously, of course, you're scared, and the next thing is, what do I do? Where do I go? And so of course, I created this ministry to help women in every state, and this is also including Canada too, to be able to find the resources that they need in their state, and if not in their city, in the nearest city that is within their city limits or living range, we call it. But anyway, and so so for me, of course, the whole ministry is so that women don't have to struggle to find resources, to know that, here's a place where I can go, and all I have to do is click, and these resources pop up, and so that's what I wanted to do, basically, to make it easier for them to find resources to take care of their pregnancies, whether it's for prenatal care, there's free baby materials, even adoption agencies, adoption ministries and places that, they're not just like your regular adoption agencies. No, they're very dedicated to you. And so, it's been really rewarding to do this, and to just do all of the research, because when I was going through all of this, when I was going through the extensive work and looking for the resources, I was very overwhelmed by how much support there is.
Yeah.
I was so overwhelmed, and I had no idea how how much of these resources are in each state and throughout the country, and so and I think also it also helps to put those ministries and those places out there, for people to know about them, for women and families to know who they are and what they do. And
right.
So I love that this ministry has also blessed me.
Yeah.
Because it's really opened my eyes too to see just how much there is out there, how many resources, how many just amazing places there are that welcome women and help women with not just prenatal care, but with the also just mentally too. Like, if they're there for you, there's so many places that are there to just help women, let them know that they're there to talk to, that they're there to support you emotionally. And so so it's been just so rewarding to see just how many resources are out there. And that's why being pro-life means you have so many choices.
Yeah.
As opposed to when you're pro-choice, there's only one option.
Right.
And that's a death sentence, And so that's why for me, I have just such a strong passion for the pro-life movement, community, and just to be able to support these women. That there's so many options out there. In my page, which is called Helping the Young Womb. This is on Instagram. And so I've already pretty much have done all of that extended work. And but believe it or not, I'm still working. I still work every day. I still find anything that's new, anything that I've missed, any new centers or ministries. I am always just updating and posting and making sure that I don't leave anything behind. So even though it may seem like I finished, it's still a work in progress. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's an amazing blessing. I think that so many women who are facing pregnancies are going to be overwhelmed and amazed at how much like support they actually do have. In our society, like we have a friend who just found out. Remember, their family's gonna have a baby, right? And like they're a Christian family, but the father of the child of the family member's baby, I'm trying to say this, they're not from a Christian home. And so the automatic response to, oh crap, she's pregnant, let's just get an abortion. That's like the initial reaction for people who don't know God, and that's the lie that's been perpetrated by the left that we all know.
And sadly, it's the only option. It's always that instant, like, only option is, to terminate.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, and I also think that's the problem, is that a lot of times Christians are so quick to say, no, don't kill your baby, that's murder. And it is. Like, I'm definitely not denying that part of it. But what I'm saying is, what kind of message does that send to somebody? Like, they already feel scared as it is, and then you say, well, if you do an abortion, that's killing your baby. What are you really offering to that person? They already have shame, maybe, for what happened, or maybe they're already, unsure of, like, hey, this is life. This is going to be a life. I possibly bring a life in the world. How am I going to prepare for this? How am I going to take care of this? And it's a very daunting thing, we all know. And so why go to somebody, friends and family, who may be Christian, and say, oh, if you go to the abortion mill, you're killing your baby, and you don't offer anything else to that person to consider, like, where is my hope? Do I have hope? Right now, I don't feel like I have hope. I'm scared to death because of this, like, situation that's going on. It's a big situation, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, why don't I go to Planned Parenthood? Because they invite me into their doors. Like, I am not pushed away. They're kind. They're opening, like, oh, it's okay. You're okay. This is good for you, and they continue to, like, perpetrate those lies of, like, it's just a clump of cells, like, if you have this baby, it'll ruin your life. So they're on the, complete opposite spectrum of our Christian worldview, obviously. So I think it's important to, this is vital for us as Christians. If we're going to win this war on against abortion, if we're going to abolish abortion, it's changed the narrative, legal and safe, to that of, hey, like, we know that this is a scary situation. We know that you're not sure what to do, but there is hope. There are resources out there, far more than you could ever imagine. I imagine, again, that initial thought that happens in a pregnant woman's mind is, like, if I tell my family about I have an unplanned pregnancy, if I tell my family, how are they going to react? Or maybe you're in, somebody who is not married, but they're living a very sinful life, and they're like, hey, I'm pregnant, and like their immediate reaction is, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think my boyfriend wanted to have this child with me, or I didn't know the guy very well. I don't know, like, if he's really going to take up responsibility with me here. And so the world has really deceived women all over the world to say, this is really your only option. And that's why we need to come alongside these women and say, hey, we love you, we care for you, and we're so excited that you are pregnant, and there is help out there. There's a vast array of support groups and pregnancy centers, et cetera, et cetera. And it's amazing because what Claudia has done, and I don't know, it's just like incredible overall, right? So we'll show you pictures, right? And we've shared the link to her Instagram page on Calvinize 5 and our Calvinize apparel store Instagram, which you literally go to Helping the Young Womb, or I think it's Helping the Womb.
Helping the Young Womb. You can type either or, because you'll find it.
So you just click up on there, and it literally you can scroll to like whatever state or is it province of Canada? Or is it just Canada?
You mean talking about the states?
They're called provinces in
Canada. That's the U.S. So that's what I'm working on right now, is finishing up, of course, all 50 of those now. So that's what I'm working on right now. And then, yes, hopefully after I finish that, then I'll move to Canada if possible. So yeah, like I said, I'm still doing a lot of work. But of course, all of the majority of the resources and everything that's per state here in the country, yes, it's already out there. But again, like I said, it's still a work in progress, and still, and even so, I think I'm still going to be working, still going to be putting things out there, still going to be updating anything that I missed or anything that comes up that's new that I've never heard of. I'm always going to be working and just making sure that everything that's out there, everything if possible, is being put out there. So
yeah, it's incredible. Like I said, if you go there, the state shows up, whatever state you're looking for, you can click that. It links literally to all of the different resources and support groups in that state and the areas that are within that state. And it's an amazing thing that you've done. It's an amazing tool. It's an amazing asset that if you're a Christian and you're well, you can't. For me, if you're not a pro-life Christian, don't ever bother calling yourself a Christian. So if you're a pro-life Christian and you love the sanctity of life, please get this. Please follow Helping the Womb on Instagram. Share it with your friends, your family. Get it out there. I don't know. Maybe we'll turn it into an app. That might be something to really consider, because it is
Yes.
It is a wonderful godsend that Claudia. I'm really impressed with the work and the time that she spends daily on this thing, constantly updating, and the way that she's organized everything is really user friendly, easy to understand.
Very foolproof.
Yeah. To just click of a button, that's what we're good at nowadays, right?
Yeah. I
Clicking
think that's why I
buttons.
said,
Swiping.
something that's easy, you just like click and it's there.
Yeah.
So of course when I started doing this, I thought, well, what's an easy way? What's something that, and of course, social media is big, we're all about technology. And so, of course, I thought this is just the perfect opportunity to be able to provide something so that's important in an easy way. And so, that's
Yeah.
why.
This is definitely going to bless a lot of lives, no doubt. Pregnancy and the conversation of abortion comes up
Right.
every day, multiple times a day, all over this world. And so, this is going to be a huge blessing to people that are like, I don't know what to tell my friend. Like I try to tell them, don't kill your baby. Think about adoption. Think about this or that. But a lot of people just don't know what resources are available, and we're quick to kind of come heavy at people when they bring up, I think I'm going to get an abortion. I don't want this unplanned pregnancy. So our reaction is always to be in love and say, hey, I understand that you're scared, but there's help. Can I show you this this cool Instagram page? It has some amazing things. Just reconsider. Look, we're going to be here for you. We're going to support you. So it doesn't have to be the judgmental, you're gonna murder, that's murder. I'm not saying don't say those things, but it's during those very difficult, tenuous conversations, it's important to be more loving and supporting of the situation and trying to encourage them to reconsider things. And we have a friend who has had multiple abortions, and we pleaded with her one time. Actually, we've known a couple people that have considered abortion. Thank God one of them didn't. She was persuaded the other way because she knew she had a support group. The other one felt like she didn't really have the means to bring a child into the world, even though we offered to bring her into our home. We had offered to adopt the baby up into a certain point. If she wanted to get back on her feet, she could take the baby after, that time, that she needed to get financially, steady and all that. And sadly, but I feel like maybe if we had these type of resources to say, hey, there is hope. There is a lot of support for you right now, because again, it all goes back to what the secular world has blinded the eyes of everybody around them, that they're a victim in some way. There is no hope, and so this is the only option if you really want to continue living your life. It always goes back to the self-serving option. This is my life. It's my body. It's my choice. It's my. It's completely just pride. It's again self-serving pride. And so yeah, but I think there's a reason why you decided to do all this. Yeah, you in the beginning, you talked about, you have a heart to serve and to love and to help women, but you have a personal story. I think this is where the deeper reason should be brought up of why you feel like this was put on your heart, like God had put this on your heart to really be an advocate for pregnant women, especially pregnant women who are newly pregnant, never had children before.
Right.
So and you've shared your story on one of our videos before.
Yeah.
But you have a story, personal story, your own story that goes into a similar situation as what we just talked about. That uncertainty, feeling like you're hopeless, you have no support around you.
Yeah.
You actually lived through that same experience. Do you want to, maybe talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So I was once a pregnant teen. So I was 19 years old when I was unexpectedly pregnant. And of course, I was afraid. I was terrified. I was scared. And very much so, I was alone. You know, I had nobody to support me. I had no family members who wanted to be there for me. And so, and the only people that I really did have were just close friends, you know, just the three close friends that I had. But I had no adults, no family members that were there to tell me, like, it's going to be okay. We can get through this, and we love you, and we're going to be there for you. And that's one thing I think I was lacking from my teenage pregnancy was love. I had no love. There was no love given to me. If anything, there was just moments where my parents, for example, saw me as like they were just kind of disgusted by me. They didn't want to really accept the fact that that I was pregnant, I was carrying their grandchild, and maybe this disgusted is kind of a strong word, but it was more so they were just disappointed. You know, they were just very filled with disappointment. So I had no support when I was 19 and pregnant. Mm-hmm. So of course, that was the first option there. The only support I did get from my parents, from my family, was we're going to take you to go to get an abortion, and that's going to fix everything.
That was the first response.
Right. Yeah. It was the first thing that came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
there's no other options. We're not going to look into pregnancy centers. And the sad part about all of this is they are Christians. They're self-called Christians at this time. They're going to church. You had even started to go back to church a little bit with them because you were raised Catholic your whole life, and so this was something new. You actually started to enjoy Bible studies and learning the Bible for the first time. But what's shocking, like we just talked about, is that your Christian parents proposed terminating your pregnancy.
Right, and I think that was also one of the shocking things for me, because I, you know, as much as I knew that they were going to be disappointed, you know, I was still shocked that they wanted me to take the route that they were enforcing. And so, of course, it was hard for me, and I think also the abortion alone was also terrifying for me. You know, I was pregnant, but now going through an abortion, that was another level of fear for me too. And of course, my personal, you know, feeling and option was to keep the baby, and I told my parents that I wanted to keep the baby, and they knew that because I expressed it to them multiple times, and that angered them a lot. Because of course I was living under their roof, and I was, you know, 19 at the time. You know, of course, I had to do with what my parents said. I had to do what my mom told me to do, because she said that it was the best for me. And had the abortion, and it was just it's a feeling, it's a moment that you just don't forget. You know, it's an experience that stays with you. It, you know, abortion is trauma. That's what it is. You know, and it hurts women, not just mentally but physically. And that's also a lot of in some of the research that I've done and actually heard directly coming from OBGYNs and physicians. But it's traumatizing, you know. And so after the abortion, I fell into some very deep depression, very scary depression. I didn't want to live with myself. I didn't even want to exist. I was on the road to wanting to end my life, and it was the following week actually that I decided to go to church, and I, you know, God was there, you know, and from there, that's when my walk with the Lord started. And so if it wasn't for that moment and God literally pulling me up to go to church that day, I probably wouldn't be here, you know. And so
I don't want to go to church that day.
like I said, I was pulling myself to, like I said, I think it was God. You know, God was the one who pulled me out of like bed, because I was laying in bed for days, just curled up in the fetal position and just crying. And if I didn't have any more tears, I just lay there and you know, wanted to just life to eat me up and consume me. And so but yeah, and so, you know, and this was 12 years ago. It's been 12 years since the abortion, and it still lives with me, you know, and it'll always live with me. And it's a memory. It's like I said, abortion is trauma, you know, not only to your mind, but to your body, you know, because it does cause physical harm to your body. It's just very harmful. It's not very hard now to talk about it. I know when I used to talk about it in the beginning, I couldn't even hold my tears back, you know. So but now that, you know, God's really given me the strength and the healing, really, I've been now, even though it still hurts to talk about it, I can safely now talk about it without having to break down in tears. But my experience with abortion when I was 19 years old was what influenced me to be an advocate for pregnant women and to help these vulnerable women, because it was the help that I wish that I had. It was the help that I wish that was given to me, or that was at least provided to me. But there was really nothing. There was absolutely nothing. There was no resources, just not even an option. The only option was abortion, and that was it. And of course that harmed me probably more than me having my child. That would have, you know, abortion I can safely say now that I have 3 children, abortion has harmed me the most, you know, than having to have my children. And even whether it was like maybe struggling to get by or giving up for adoption. But, you know, I can safely say that, you know, abortion harmed me the most.
Absolutely. You can definitely, there's a lot of, like you said, physical, but also the psychological repercussions that come with it. Like, not only like for you, but I know like being married to you for now over 10 years, we've been together for about, I don't know, close to 11 years. We're getting there. Anyways, it's something that me as your husband, you know, it's a pain that I also feel, because I do love you, because you're my wife, you know, and you can tell, like, we look at our kids, like you said, it was 12 years ago, and that's 12 years of memories with your firstborn kid, and that is absolutely hard to fathom. And that's when I have conversations with people who are pro-choice. It's women's bodies, they can do whatever they want with them, and a lot of times it's men, believe it or not, they're fathers, and I say, you have a child, dude. Think about what that would be like. Think about all the memories that you have, all the smiles, the laughs, watching their first steps, all those different milestones.
Right.
The pictures that you take on your phone of them, like your proud moments of them. You would have never had those. And so it hits home very, very hard in our house. But I am so proud of the work that Claudia's been doing. I'm so proud of the bravery that she shows telling her story. And because it's something, obviously, as Christian people, it's not something that we state boldly. We don't shout our abortions. We don't shout our sins. I mean, obviously, it's incredible how God moves in the life of a believer, from feeling like, either one, being completely self-serving versus ashamed and not knowing where to go and feeling lost and empty. And there's God who restores us and renews us and brings us into a newness of life, and we find his forgiveness and mercy. And I think your story really illustrates that, your testimony. So much so that we have more to share about Claudia's next venture in this ministry. She just completed her first draft of a book she's writing about her story through her experience of the abortion and finding grace and forgiveness and all that. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So I'm like, you know what? I don't even think I told you. I didn't tell you until after I started writing, and it was just really put heavily on my heart. Something that I've never really felt before, and so I was just very inspired to share my story. And even though it can be intimidating and it's very fragile and not a very easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely wanted to talk about it and share my story to show the impact of what abortion does to women, such as myself. And so I really wanted to just demonstrate basically through my book what abortion does to women,
mm-hmm.
what abortion has done to me, and what it currently looks like for me now. And so the book really, I go into detail about what I went through after that, after the whole process. And well, first it starts a little bit slow, just to kind of show readers
the background,
show readers where the kind of person I was, where I came out from a little bit, who I was. And so coming into the relationship that I was in up to her, and then talking about my pregnancy and how I found out too. And then and then also just I start talking about the very hard stuff. The very hard part of, I think, the entire book is talking about sitting in the clinic, and there's actually quite a bit of women around me there, and so feeling like I could have run out of there. And it's something I think about so many times. That part was a very tender part to write about, I'm not gonna lie. I think when I was writing that part and typing, I remember I had to stop because I actually broke down in tears as I was writing this part. And I remember when I stopped, I was texting David because he was at work, and I told him that I'm like, this is hard, this is so hard. And so I was just emotional, and I was crying, and I think it just kind of took me a little bit to kind of just let it out. And then I finally just got back on it, and I was able to get through that part. I think that's the part I just really wanted to get through, because it was just such a tender, very fragile, just stuff to talk about, especially because I also mentioned in my book how I wasn't able to see the baby on the ultrasound screen. They don't allow you to see it. They hide it from you purposefully, so that you won't, in fear that you'll change your mind and have the baby, not have the abortion. And so I talk about that part because it was just very, it was saddening. It's a saddening thing to think about. And I also mentioned that the only people the only people on earth that got to see my baby were the people who terminated him. And so, and those were the only people that got to see the baby were the ones that terminated him. And
The
so
butchers, yeah.
yeah, and so that there were so many things that I wrote that I kind of came to realize, and on, at that moment I said, well, that's true, that's right, that's a fact, and so anyway. But what I love about when I was writing this book was that even through when I was going through the hard situations, after, with the abortion and afterwards, I think the beautiful part of it was just the healing and the part when God literally saved me. And that was just the beautiful part, is how God moved in my life when I needed him. And right when I was in this dark place, when I was wanting to end my life, God was there and he saved me. He saved me from drowning in the depression that I was suffering from due to the abortion.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm very prayerful about the book launching, and hopefully it'll be out there. And so mostly also because I feel like it gives some kind of encouragement to women who are having unexpected pregnancies and dealing with just moments of uncertainty and those feelings of fear, and to show them, like, abortion unfortunately is an option, but this is what it does. This is the harm that it does. And it's real. It's real. It's a real life thing. It's something that a lot of women quietly suffer from, and it's also serves as a voice to those who are quietly suffering from this trauma, because that's something that's not talked about very often, is the trauma that women who've had abortions go through.
Right.
And so people such as myself are still going through it. I live with the trauma. I still think about it, and I still feel it. I still feel the sadness, but I'm blessed to I'll say beyond blessed, to know that God's forgiven me, that God has given me that healing.
Yeah.
Although it's a trauma, and I'll always think about it, and I'll always, hold it deep in my heart, and it'll weigh heavy on my heart. I can live my life knowing that God's forgiven me, and that he loves me, and he gave me a new life, and a new family and children, and he's given me a second chance. And that's something that I also mentioned in the book, is that he's given me a second chance at life when I felt like I had no purpose and no reason to live. So
yeah. Well, I've actually read the book. The first draft, right? Right now it's currently under, it's being edited. We actually have a friend who attends, we go to the same church together, he's part of the same body. He's actually an author, and he also does editing as a side gig for other authors. And so he's, like I said, he's currently editing the book right now. It's going under that process, and so we're deciding whether or not, like, it's going to be self-published, or maybe we're going to try to,
we're still in the process,
reach out to some Christian publisher out there. I think it was a great story. I read it in a matter of hours.
He was really dedicated to wanting to read it in one sitting.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed reading the first draft, because it's fun. It's about my wife, obviously. Like, she's an amazing person. It's kind of this, she's a young girl. It's this coming of age, trying to figure out, post high school, like, where am I going? But I'm still enjoying life. You know, she's. It's not like she wasn't a promiscuous girl out there. Like, she wasn't a Christian yet, but it wasn't like she didn't have morals and values and self-respect and that kind of stuff. But you know, she was still in the world and trying to navigate her way through, and you know, caught up in the lies of the enemies. They're like, these are what people are doing. It's okay if I do this, and that has nothing to do with, like I said, promiscuity or anything like that. But it's a fun story. It's like it's getting to know a wonderful young lady at that age, and just kind of faced with, you know, hardships at an early age and feeling like you have no support. And anyways, she already elaborated on like the main plot line of the book, but I would highly recommend it when it comes out. Obviously, as her husband, I'm going to endorse that. And so I'm excited. I'm just so proud of you. You're an amazing woman. She does so much for me. She's a great wife. She's like my number one cheerleader, my number one support system. I don't have to worry about anything when I leave home. She's up with the kids in the morning, getting them dressed, getting them on the bus, taking care of the home, doing her doggy daycare. She's a cake baker, and I come home. I got dinner on the table, and a smiling wife who welcomes me home with open arms. And I feel very blessed to be a part of your life and be your husband. And even after this, guess what she gets to do? She gets to edit the video, because I have no idea how to do all that. And so
I'm the editor. I'm the video editor.
She's incredibly gifted woman with a big heart who she loves deeply and cares deeply for people. And so I'm beyond blessed to be a part of her life, to be her husband, and just watching her grow and really allow God to inspire her and use her for His glory. And to, again, I can't wait to see how many people you're going to bless with your helping the Young Womb Ministry, and also this book coming out. I think it's going to touch a lot of lives. I think it's going to save lives, both of them. So
that's what we pray for.
Yeah,
for sure.
So would you be in prayer for Claudia in her ministry? She's really dove in deep into this, and she's I feel like she's prone to risk as well, right? Maybe some scrutiny from people who are against this type of work, but this is what God has called her to do, and this is what God calls us to do, and that is to stand together as Christians, as His sons and daughters who cherish life, who believe in the sanctity of life, believe that all human beings, whether outside or in the womb, are image bearers of God, and that is actually, it's one of the hardest ministries you can ever be involved in. And so this concludes our video. Thank you so much for joining us. Please again check out Helping the Young Womb on Instagram. Follow Claudia there, and
Calvinized Apparel.
Calvinized Apparel. Just go buy a coffee cup or something. Donate, or you could get a sticker.
Yeah.
I think that really wraps it up. Like, partner with us in the ministry. Like I said, we already have partners that are coming in. We have the Soulless Council. We are partnering, as you can tell, with other pro-life and end abortion ministries, like End Abortion Now. I've already been in conversations with Jeff Durbin and Zach with End Abortion Ministry, End Abortion Now Ministry. They know about Calvinized Apparel. They know what we're doing. They're very grateful for our work. Well, at least finding ways to support them financially. And then obviously with Claudia, she is a huge partner to all of these other pro-life ministry and support groups and resource groups. And so if we truly want to end abortion, this is how we do it. This is how we step up to the plate. This is how we fight. We come together. We support each other as a community, as the body of Christ, working together. So please join us, partner with us. You can do that in a variety of ways by, following Claudia's Instagram page, Helping the Young Womb, or, partnering with us at CalvinizedApparel.com. Buy some merch there. Show off your theology. Again, all proceeds are donated to the EndAbortionNow.com or other pro-life ministries, and you can be a huge help in that and bless lives that you probably will never meet. And so thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and stay tuned for our next edition here on Calvinized.
Yeah, let's start with the microphone check. 1, 2 first. Water to the dry and weary soul of the true church. The kind of things that few search. They say that the truth hurts. Well, this pain is gain, so let's explain the new birth. First things first, can't neglect this at the